Toeic.
The test of English for International Communication, Toeic, measures the ability of non-native English-speaking examinees to use English in everyday workplace activities.
Overview.
The test of English for International Communication, Toeic, is an English language test designed specifically to measure the everyday English skills of people working in an international environment. The Toeic listening and reading test is a 2-hour multiple-choice test consisting of 200 questions evenly divided into listening comprehension and reading comprehension. Each candidate receives independent scores for written and listening comprehension on a scale from 5 to 495 points. The total score adds up to a scale from 10 to 990 points. The Toeic certificate exists in 5 colors, corresponding to achieved results. Orange, 10 to 215, brown, 220 to 465, green, 470 to 725, blue, 730 to 855, gold, 860 to 990. The Toeic speaking and writing test was introduced in 2006. Test takers receive separate scores for each of the 2 tests, or can take the speaking test without taking the writing test. The speaking test assesses pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, and fluency, while the writing test examines vocabulary, grammar, and overall coherence and organization. The tests are designed to reflect actual English usage in the workplace, though they do not require any knowledge of specialized business terms. The Toeic speaking test takes approximately 20 minutes to complete. The Toeic writing test lasts approximately 60 minutes. Each test has a score range between 0 to 200, with test takers grouped into 8 proficiency levels. In addition to the official Toeic tests, there are also versions that individual businesses and educational institutions can purchase for internal use. These institutional Toeic tests can be administered at the organization's own choice of location and time to their employees or students.
History.
The Educational Testing Service, ETS, developed the Toeic test to measure achievement in using English in a business setting. The Asahi Shimbun National Daily's Evening Edition 5 interviewed Yasuo Kitaka. Kitaka Yasuo, who was the central figure of the Japanese team that conceived the basic idea of the Toeic test. According to an August 11, 2009 Japan Times article, in the 1970s, Kitaka began negotiating with ETS to create a new test of English communication for use in Japan. ETS responded that it required a non-profit organization to work with as their partner. Kitaka tried to enlist the help of the Ministry of Education, but their bureaucrats did not see the need for a new test to compete with the STEP icon, an English test already backed by the ministry. To overcome this opposition, Kitaka received help from his friend, Yaeji Watanabe. Watanabe's influence as a retired high-ranking bureaucrat from the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, renamed the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry, or METI, proved crucial to Toeic's establishment. Watanabe had remained in contact with his old ministry while working on the board of directors for the World Economic Information Services, WISE, and as chairman of the Japan-China Economic Association, both public interest corporations operating under MITI. Watanabe declined an interview request, but his memoirs describe how he overcame Ministry of Education opposition to the Toeic by taking cover behind the Ministry of Trade shield. Watanabe convinced his old ministry it should play the lead role in establishing a new English test, and formed a Toeic steering committee under the WISE umbrella. Members of the committee included other retired MIDI bureaucrats and influential business leaders. Government support secured, ETS began developing the test in 1977. In 1979, English learners in Japan filled in the first of many TOEIC multiple-choice answer forms. ETS's major competitor is Cambridge University, which administers the IELTS, FCE, CAE, and CPE.
New TOEIC tests.
A new version of the TOEIC listening and writing test was released in 2006. The changes can be summarized as follows. Overall, passages are longer. Part 1 has fewer questions involving photograph descriptions. The listening section hires speakers of English from Britain, Australia, New Zealand and North America, and uses an equal distribution of the dialects. However, all the voice actors for the speaking test have lived in the United States for an extended period. Part 6 no longer contains an error-spotting task, criticized as unrealistic in a corporate environment, instead adopting the use of a task wherein the test taker fills in blanks and incomplete sentences. Part 7 contains not only single passage questions but also double passage questions wherein the test taker reads and compares the two related passages, such as an email correspondence. According to a survey conducted in 2006 by the Institute for International Business Communication, 56.8% of the respondents who took both the older and the revised versions of the TOEIC test in Japan find the latter version more difficult. The lower the score the test taker achieves, the more marked this tendency becomes. As many as 85.6% of those who earn scores ranging from 10 to 395 points find the revised TOEIC test more difficult, while 69.9% of those who earn 400 to 495 points think this way, as do 59.3% of those who earn 500 to 595 points. Among those who achieved 600 to 695 points, 58.9% agree with these findings. 700 to 795 points, 48.6%, 800 to 895 points, 47.9%, and 900 to 990 points, 39.8%. 2006 also saw the addition of TOEIC speaking and writing tests. In 2007 there were additional changes to the TOEIC writing and listening tests that decreased emphasis on knowledge of grammatical rules.
TOEIC in Japan.
The Institute for International Business Communication. The TOEIC speaking test writing test started on January 21, 2007 in addition to the TOEIC SP test and the TOEIC IP test. The Institute for International Business Communication, IIBC, the non-profit organization that administers the TOEIC in Japan, was the subject of a scandal in 2009. In May and June 2009, articles in the Japanese weekly magazine Friday accused the IIBC's 92-year-old chairman Yaeji Watanabe of nepotism when he appointed the son of his girlfriend to the position of chairman of the IIBC board of directors. To force the appointment, half of the volunteers serving on the board were forced out by Watanabe. The magazine article also questioned why Watanabe only showed up for work about 1 day a week. In his defense, Watanabe claimed that he held a ceremonial title and was chairman in name only. As a result, Watanabe claimed that he had little to do with the decision to appoint the son of his girlfriend to the position. The magazine article concluded by asking why someone who was chairman only in name and only working 1 day a week should receive an annual salary in excess of 25 million yen. In August 2009, The online version of the English-language newspaper The Japan Times published a two-part series examining the TOEIC's origins and early history as well as the use of test taker fees by the IIBC on the Internet. The August 18 article examined the questionable uses of test fees, including a five-fold increase in utility expenses in 1 year. 13 million spent annually on research about adapting to Chinese culture, sponsorship of poetry readings by the Chinese Poetry Recitation Association, and membership fees to join the Beautiful Aging Association, for which Watanabe also happened to be chairman. The article also questioned the relationship between the IIBC and its for-profit partner International Communications School with which it shared office space. International Communications School is responsible for selling the TOEIC institutional program test given by companies and schools, and also publishes IIBC-approved TOEIC preparation textbooks and administers the TOEIC Japanese language website. Also, one of International Communications School's subsidiaries is eCommunications, which administers the TOEIC's online application system and provides online TOEIC study materials. In 2009, Watanabe suddenly resigned from the IIBC, leaving the son of his girlfriend in charge of the non-profit. Watanabe received a 25 million yen retirement payment. The IIBC lowered the price of the TOEIC Secure Program test from 6,615 yen to 5,985 yen starting with the September 13, 2009 test. The price had to be lowered due to pressure from the Ministry of Trade, which instructed the IIBC to reduce the profits being generated by the test. In July 2010, the Tokyo Tax Bureau announced that International Communications School, IIBC's for-profit partner, hit 100 million yen in income and had to pay 30 million yen in back taxes and fines.
TOEIC in the Republic of Korea.
Toward the end of 2005, there was a shift in South Korea, regarded as the second biggest consumer of TOEIC per capita. As noted in the Chosen Ilbo Korea Daily reports, National Daily 6, a number of major corporations have either removed or reduced the required TOEIC score for employment. An official from the Industrial Bank of Korea, IBK, Kia Bank, says TOEIC isn't an appropriate indicator of actual English skills. Side? However, a person's TOEIC score is still a major factor in hiring persons for most professional jobs in South Korea. Starting in 20